Not long ago, the dominant mindset in corporate America was simple: move fast, expand aggressively, hire more people, enter new markets, launch new products, and capture as much growth as possible. The biggest companies in America spent years competing on offense. The goal wasn't merely to survive, it was to dominate. Businesses were rewarded for taking risks, investors celebrated ambitious plans, and executives were constantly searching for the next growth opportunity. But if you look closely at what many of America's largest companies are doing today, you'll notice something different. A growing number of them are becoming more cautious, more selective, more disciplined, and far more focused on protecting themselves from uncertainty. They're still investing, still innovating, still growing, but increasingly they're playing defense. And that raises an important question. Why are some of the most powerful companies in the world suddenly acting more carefully than before? The answer starts with one word: uncertainty. For decades, business leaders could make long-term plans with a reasonable amount of confidence. Economic trends were easier to interpret, consumer behavior was relatively predictable, and technological change moved at a pace that companies could generally manage. Today, that environment looks very different. Consumers are changing habits rapidly. Technology is transforming industries at record speed. Economic signals often appear contradictory, and global events can influence business conditions almost instantly. As a result, many executives have become less confident in their ability to predict what comes next. When prediction becomes harder, protection becomes more important. That's exactly what we're seeing today. One of the clearest signs of this defensive mindset is the growing focus on efficiency. Listen to earnings calls from major corporations and you'll hear the same themes repeatedly: productivity, cost control, operational discipline, resource allocation. Businesses are scrutinizing spending more carefully than they did during periods of aggressive expansion. They're asking tougher questions. Does this investment improve profitability? Does it strengthen the business? Does it make us more resilient? Growth still matters, but growth alone is no longer enough. Companies increasingly want growth that can survive difficult conditions. Hiring provides another example. America's largest employers continue adding workers in many areas, but the approach has changed. Instead of hiring as aggressively as possible, businesses are becoming more selective. Every new role is being evaluated carefully. Every department is expected to justify expansion. The focus is shifting from workforce size to workforce effectiveness. Companies want talented employees, but they also want flexibility. They want organizations that can adapt quickly if conditions change. That's a very different mindset from the one that dominated much of the previous decade. Technology is another reason companies are playing defense. Artificial intelligence represents one of the biggest opportunities in modern business, but it also represents one of the biggest uncertainties. Executives know AI could reshape industries. What they don't know is exactly how fast, or exactly which business models will benefit most. As a result, many companies are avoiding all-or-nothing strategies. They're investing, experimenting, and learning, but they're also maintaining flexibility. No one wants to commit entirely to a path that could look very different 3 years from now. In many ways, the AI era is teaching companies to be more cautious, not less. Consumer behavior is adding to the uncertainty. Customers today are more informed than ever. They compare prices instantly, research alternatives, read reviews, and switch brands with little effort. Loyalty still exists, but it is harder to earn and easier to lose. This creates challenges for businesses. Demand becomes less predictable, forecasts become less reliable, and companies must remain prepared for sudden changes in consumer preferences. That's one reason businesses are strengthening their operations instead of simply expanding them. They want stability in a world where customer behavior can change quickly. Financial strategy has changed as well. Many large companies are maintaining stronger balance sheets, holding more cash, reducing unnecessary risks, and preserving financial flexibility. To some observers, this may look overly cautious. To executives, it looks practical. They understand that opportunities often appear during periods of uncertainty. Companies with strong financial positions can take advantage of those opportunities. Companies without flexibility often struggle. Playing defense today can create offensive opportunities tomorrow. Another reason America's biggest companies are becoming more defensive is that investors themselves have changed. A few years ago, investors often rewarded growth above everything else. Today, profitability matters more, efficiency matters more, cash flow matters more. Wall Street increasingly wants evidence that businesses can perform well under multiple scenarios, not just ideal scenarios. That shift is influencing executive decision-making across industries. Businesses are responding to what investors value, and right now, investors value resilience. Perhaps the most important reason companies are playing defense is because they've learned difficult lessons. Recent years reminded executives that unexpected events can happen. Supply chains can break, consumer behavior can shift, technology can disrupt entire industries, economic conditions can change rapidly. Many business leaders now assume uncertainty is permanent, not temporary. That assumption changes everything. It affects hiring, investment, pricing, expansion, and long-term strategy. Instead of planning for one future, companies are preparing for multiple futures. That's the essence of playing defense, not retreating, preparing. What's fascinating is that this trend isn't limited to one industry. Retailers are doing it, technology companies are doing it, manufacturers are doing it, financial firms are doing it, healthcare organizations are doing it. Different industries face different challenges, yet many are arriving at the same conclusion. Flexibility has become one of the most valuable assets a business can possess. The companies that survive uncertainty are often the companies that prepared for it. That realization is quietly reshaping corporate America. So why are America's biggest companies playing defense? Because the world has become harder to predict. Consumers are changing faster, technology is evolving faster, competition is intensifying, and uncertainty has become a permanent feature of business. The old strategy of pursuing growth at any cost is being replaced by something different. A strategy built around resilience, adaptability, financial strength, and operational discipline. The biggest companies in America haven't stopped chasing opportunity, they're simply approaching it differently. They're protecting themselves while preparing for growth. Because in today's economy, success isn't just about moving faster than everyone else. It's about staying strong when conditions change. And that's exactly why so many of America's biggest companies are quietly playing defense right now.